This is The Great Expanse by JohnBat426 here on YouTube. It is always a pleasure to record these videos, to edit them, put my unique spin on them for your viewing pleasure, for your listening pleasure. And if you like the videos that you've seen thus far, hit the like button. Share these videos with other people that you know that like comic book related stuff as much as you do. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications. Which one? All. Not personalized or the one underneath, but all. So the next time a new videos drop, you'll know by that second. I'll know by that voice. Now, I said all I had to say in one breath, all right? And you can tell it's a little slower because shout out to you. I want you to understand what I'm saying. Now, you clicked on the thumbnail. You already know what the video is about. Avengers Doomsday teaser. And it's an official teaser because they've been making custom teasers. What's that? Screen Culture, the website where they have all these fan-made trailers. And I hate stuff like that because you're purposefully trying to deceive people. It's like, why not do a fan-made trailer and put in the title fan-made trailer instead of trying to sucker people for clickbait? I don't like that. If you have to achieve something by deception, you suck. Anyway, let me get off my soapbox. You see the Pittsburgh Steelers in effect. And we've been all right this season. We're going to the playoffs, apparently. We'll probably be winning our division. We won a decisive game against the Ravens a few weeks ago, so the Ravens are out. We're in for the time being. I don't know why I gave a double thumbs down, but Pittsburgh, we have ways to go because we only have Aaron Rodgers for one season. Now, if you'll recall, I didn't want Aaron Rodgers at all. Bars. Because he's a diva. Because he's old. Those are the facts. He's a diva. When he was with Green Bay, he was going on the Pat McAfee show every Monday or Tuesday, whatever it is, and talking about why the rest of his team is the problem instead of taking accountability for his play. Now, I know you didn't come here to hear me rant on the NFL or the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm kind of just buttering you up because I'm excited about this Doomsday teaser. Now, it came out earlier in the day, so I had to stay off the internet. I had to stay away from YouTube because I didn't want to be spoiled. But now is the time. We are doing the official Doomsday teaser in 3, 2, 1, go. Somebody on a motorcycle. Almost looks like Hawkeye's homestead. I think that's the house at the end of Endgame where Steve Rogers was with Peggy Carter. Because when we put the stones back in those different places in time, instead of immediately returning to the present, he lived out a life with Peggy Carter. That's why he's like 100-something years old when he's sitting on the bench and he gave Sam Wilson the shield. Now, that was the old Captain America armor. So this is definitely Chris Evans as Steve Rogers. He had a son. That is comic accurate, too. We'll talk about it after the teaser. DH Chris Evans. He's beaming with pride. Steve Rogers will return in Avengers Doomsday. That's what you call a teaser. Because I wanted confirmation. I wanted a visual of the namesake Dr. Doom. I even wore this sort of a green. Let me show the chain. There we go. But I even wore green because I thought there would be something Dr. Doom related. But guess what? I was wrong. But this is an ideal teaser because now there are so many different theories now. I think his son... Now, let me run it back from the mind, okay? I hope I remember correctly. When Captain America was assassinated by Crossbones, which was basically how the Civil War comic arc ended. So it's like we had Tony Stark's team versus Steve Rogers' team. Captain America turns himself in after he sees them just fighting, and he's like, wait, we're not helping here, because he just sees that the good guys are just fighting the good guys with a few bad guys on either side. And he tells his team, stand down. Captain America surrenders to Tony Stark's team, and he's taken into custody. And Civil War ends, the comic series. But really, that was just the appetizer for the death of Captain America. Crossbones assassinates him while he's handcuffed, I believe. Okay, and then of course, with the death of Steve Rogers, I think people were trying to get his body so they could, steal the super soldier serum out of his body, I believe. But there's even an issue or a story where Wolverine goes to, I think, is it the helicarrier where Tony Stark had Steve Rogers' body? But Wolverine sneaks aboard, because remember, Wolverine and Captain America have a long, extensive history in World War II. This was also highlighted in X-Men, the animated series, season 5. I think it's called Old Soldiers, okay? Where we actually see Wolverine and Captain America fighting Nazis, okay, in the 40s. So Wolverine, he confirms that, yes, Steve Rogers is dead. And then Wolverine says to Tony Stark at the end of the story, he says, if I find out, Wolverine talking to Tony Stark, that you had anything to do with the murder of Cap, he said, I'll kill you. Wolverine said this, because Wolverine has the utmost respect for Captain America. All right. Which is ironic, because in the original Secret Wars, Captain America had an issue with Magneto being on the good. I'm talking about the 80s Secret Wars, okay? And remember, this is where Doomsday is headed, to Secret Wars. So that story kind of ties into the story I'm about to tell now. But Captain America had an issue with Magneto being on the good guys team, because Magneto's goals are more aligned with nobility than they were with, like, Dr. Doom's team. That makes sense what I'm saying? All right. So we had the X-Men, we had the Avengers, we had 3 of the Fantastic Four. Sue was pregnant at the time, so she was Taken by the Beyonder, okay? We had Spidey, we had the Hulk, and they're fighting a list of bad guys. Dr. Doom, Dr. Octopus, the Wrecking Crew, the Lizard, Kurt Connors, and Kang the Conqueror is also in there, and Ultron, okay? So then it became a racial issue, okay? And Wolverine is literally being restrained because he was trying to get at Captain America, because he perceived that Captain America said something that was prejudiced. And Wolverine said, I've lost respect for you this day. So Captain America and Wolverine, they have a very colorful and checkered past at times. But ultimately, Wolverine respects the fact that he's a soldier, and they fought alongside each other. Now, I said all that to say this. Captain America, I believe, will be very instrumental in Secret Wars, but the fact that this is being teased in Doomsday is also interesting, because as I alluded to earlier, okay, I'm gonna tie it up, all right, I'm tie the bow again, okay. When he was assassinated, I don't exactly remember what happened, but I think he kind of was resurrected somehow. He wasn't resurrected by the Hand, the ninja group. I don't think he was resurrected by the Hand. But he was Steve Rogers again, but he wasn't young Captain America anymore. He was the older one that we saw at the end of Endgame in the comic books. But, he's more like Nick Fury in a way. He's kind of like calling the action. And his son, who I believe was Nomad, okay, was the one that was kind of, taking the bullets. He was like the one that was on the front line while Captain America was old and just coordinating things. So we could go in many different directions with Doomsday. Now, this is the MCU timeline, but based on the cast of Doomsday, we have different timelines converging. We have the X-Men universe converging with the MCU. Okay, finally, like The Rock, whatever. So this is a real teaser, because you don't see any action, you don't see Dr. Doom, but we see the return of Chris Evans' Steve Rogers. He will be appearing in Avengers Doomsday. This was a fantastic teaser. The reason why it's fantastic, because it teased me. Again, I'm looking for Doom. I'm looking for finger blasters. I'm looking for Doom bots. I'm looking for the old, medieval castle that Doom resides in Latveria. But I didn't get any of that. I got something that I didn't even ask for, which was the gem. This was a jewel, seeing Chris Evans again. Now, what did you think of this teaser? Leave a comment, leave a dissertation if necessary. In other words, be as wordy as you need to be. I will read it, okay? And in case you're not sure where those comments or dissertations go, I brought along David Brent from Wernham Hall, The Office UK. Let them know where those comments or dissertations go, sir. Thank you, Mr. Brent. Do your part, I'll do my part, so the Great Expanse by John Bapp 426 can and will expand. It's in the name.